All right, we've got another case here, and the notes on this particular case are, let me get to it here. Tooth number 19 was extracted 8.5 months ago prior to the cone beam scan and was grafted at the time with a 50/50 mineralized corticocancellous bone and collagen membrane by another practitioner. What is your opinion of the site on the scan for implant placement, bone density? In addition, I'm having difficulty visualizing the inferior alveolar nerve. I will integrate the CEREC scan later and just wanted to get your idea on this. So let's take a look at the site, and so I can see our concerns and why we're having difficulty integrating the data. So we have a large medullary cavity here. That doesn't preclude me from placing the implant. It's just one of the things I take into consideration here is getting stability and making sure that I don't get freaked out when when I'm doing my drilling and it drops into this hole here. So the easiest way, and then we'll come into the nerve. So before I get worried about the nerve, I go ahead and drop my implant in. I always start with my ideal here, which is for this case will be a 5x10, and then I'll go ahead and drop my implant in, go to my implant align view, and I go ahead and get this planned. Go ahead and get this planned out. Trying to figure out how to turn this stupid thing off here. Go ahead and get this planned out, and like I would normally do here. So get there, and then obviously we need to tilt that implant to center it, and there we go there, and probably say something along that line right there would be close to ideal, maybe a little bit better centered here, and I don't like this much space between right here and here. My concern on something like this is, building my tooth. It's going to be a bigger space right in here. So what I will probably do here is go a little bit more distal, like so, to get that a little bit better centered there, and then tilt it back there. And now when I place my implant, we can see that I'm going to have pretty even roughly, and then once you have the CEREC data in there, that'll be a little bit better. So something along this line right here. There we go. And then so from a perspective, I know that roughly that this implant can be done. There's plenty of bone there. Stability is going to be a relative non-issue here. I do know that we have a medullary cavity right in this area right here. So that part of the implant may not be in full contact with the bone, but I don't see any major issues here. And then we'll take a look at the inferior alveolar nerve. And sometimes it's going to be hard to visualize it all the way. So sometimes we're going to guess. And so right here, what I'm already seeing now here is there's my nerve. Okay, so at least there's part of the nerve, right? So mentally, that's kind of what I do. And say I would probably even say worst case scenario, it goes up like that. So I would say, you know what, that's probably a little too close for comfort for me. Okay. A little too close. So the other thing I can start to see is right back here. There's the nerve canal right in here. So that might be a little bit close. So I'll probably just go to a 5x8.5mm implant here. And I think, again, I think that'll be just fine in this particular site. I'm not sure that this is the exact implant placement I need. I don't have the benefit of our CEREC data yet. So my guess would be that this implant probably needs to be placed a little bit more like that, just from trying to center it there. And then I know that I'm off occlusal plane here, but we're doing that because I want to make sure that we don't create any hygiene food traps in this particular situation. So my guess would be something like this. Very safe in this situation of not worrying about hitting the nerve. The other reason that I, generally speaking, would be surprised if the nerve is Here, as we can see that the implant is shorter than the adjacent roots, very rarely does a nerve go up and down like that, especially in the site of where there was a tooth at one point in time. So this is probably how I would handle this case, and thank you very much for submitting this.